So, Jamie, it's good to hear you on there. I guess you said you're going to stick around one more, so that's about all I'm looking for, too. So we'll let Brandon get him here and make him get his transmission there. But, yeah, I wish I could make it down to Shelby, but, man, that's a bit of a haul for me there, and like I said, I got other stuff going on this time. But I think that was the deal of it was kind of like the Titan was the big one for me for this year, and you know I've been to about 7 or 8 Hamfest since then, you know, so I'm getting about Hamfest out there. So W4GUZ, this is N3TBW.
Hello, Brandon, Brian, everybody else in here from Annapolis, WA3VJB.
Hello, Paul. WA3VJB, W4GUZ, and the crew. I'm not sure who's in here besides Jamie and you, Paul, and Brian. Giving a little demonstration here of the Collins 20V2. Pop's in the house. He's been here helping me today since I've had a bum back for going on 6 weeks now, but it is getting better. Definitely getting better. It wasn't too fun holding a super full of honey, or a frame out of a super full of honey, which probably weighs every bit of 5 or 6 pounds, off to the side with one hand and using a brush to rake the bees off of it. But we had a 3-man or a female and 3 men. No, that's not right either. My wife. 2 men and a female, but I'll tell you, my wife can just about outdo me as far as lifting, and Brian can attest to that. It went like clockwork, and I think we had the whole process done. What, Dad? How long did it take? 2.5, yeah, 2.5, 3 hours. We had the honey off, and it spun, and we actually kept. Well, we haven't got that far yet. We've got 5 or 6 frames that we're gonna put in jars with the comb on it. That's the way I like it. Remember growing up as a kid and going and getting a big spoonful of honey, which was about half honey and half wax, and sticking it in my jaw and slowly swallowing the honey and chewing on the wax until the taste went away, and then spitting it out and getting another bite. So a lot of people don't like it that way, but I do. And my Dad does. My grandpa, Dad's dad, was a beekeeper I guess most of your adult life, or all your life, Dad. You talk louder. Everybody in the world can hear you. And like I've said before, he tried to teach me, but bees were on my mind at the time, but it was the birds and the bees, so I had no interest in honeybees, so I've had to learn on my own. Over to you, Paul. I'll hang in here for one more. I guess this is the first time you've been down here that I've actually been on the radio, right, Dad?
Yeah.
So, just kind of showing off the 20V2, and the 400s are glowing perfectly. WA3VJB, W4GUZ, how's things in Annapolis?
And hello to your dad there in the background. WA3VJB, Annapolis, home of the U.S. Naval Academy, near the Chesapeake Bay. Oh, it's funny you talk about your wife, Brandon, outlifting you on some of that stuff. For your dad's sake, I'll reflect on the stories you told about your wife helping you organize bringing home that Collins that he's looking at right there. A great big radio station transmitter that Brandon and his wife brought home on a trailer. And the way we were told, she did most of the work. So I'll tip my hat. The 3 men and a female, and the female doing most of the work. Yeah, things are doing fine here. Had a pretty day out. Got up to around the mid-80s and got out for a 2-mile hike with the 2 labs. They're all happy and laying around in the air conditioning when we got home. One of them laid down in the creek out back, so she had to have a bath. Sand and dirt all over her. So I was about ready to turn in when you fired up, Brandon. I thought I'd say hello because it'd been a little while. I'm happy to also be part of the demonstration here with your dad in the room. Many years ago, I hosted a visit of my parents here. Came up from Williamsburg, Virginia. And my dad stood in this very room and just was awed at all the stuff. My dad was kind of afraid of electricity, and I don't think he ever did grasp why I was so fascinated by it. He made it to 92, and I certainly hope to, but I think that was part of his self-preservation instinct, is to stay away from things with meters marked 2,500 volts. So, a wise man indeed. But he stood here with me on the radio just like your dad is doing there tonight, Brandon. And took in all the storytelling and the voices coming over the wireless. Let me kick it back to you, and then you can circulate it around unless Brian wants to pick it up there. I think that's the order of things. Let me pass it to Brian then. And I didn't plan on staying in too much longer, and I think Brian's kind of headed for the door there too. N3TBW sounded good even on the rice box there, Brian. Here at Annapolis. Okay, copying okay. WA3VJB with the group.
And then 3CXP.
Who was that?
November 3, Charlie X-Ray, Papa, and 3CXP.
Now let me throw my hat in the ring. I'm dodging storms out here. Hello, Brandon, Paul. Sound like Brian and another gentleman. W0 Victor Mike Charlie.
Okay, hello dear Robert, and then I think it was an N3PXP Papa, X-Ray Papa, I believe it was. I'm not sure. Yeah, I want to know what kind of way out the door here. I gotta start shutting down and getting off the bed here. It's about 20 after 9 here now, so. Yeah, I gotta start winding down here. I gotta get up early and do the work thing tomorrow. So, and hello to your dad there in the shack there, Brandon's dad there, and yeah, this is what we do. We talk on the radio, the old-fashioned path communications, man, and no cell phones. This is the way to communicate, and it will be the way to communicate if, other electronics may fail. So, yeah, I know Amy, man. She's like, she's got some strength, man. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get on the bad side of her, that's for sure. No way. Yep, but it's good that you got some strong arms there to help you out there with the back problems there. I'm glad you're getting better with the back. I was going to ask you how that was coming along there, so I'm glad you're starting to feel a little better over that. And hopefully, keep it that way. Like I said, get your honey all jarred up there and all that. Yeah, the honeybees bee wax. I imagine that would be good to chew on just right out, all mixed together there. I never tried it, but I can't see that being all that bad. So very good on that. And so yep. Well, like I said, I'm probably gonna listen out on this one. I'll pass this around. I heard N3PXP first, and then I heard Robert W0VMC. So why don't the N3PXP go ahead, and then you can pass it over to Robert W0VMC whenever you're done. Up there in way up in Wisconsin, there in the up far north there. Well, I guess you'll be coming down to the end of your summer here pretty soon, there, Robert. You know, your summer's a little shorter than ours, even. So I guess you'll be getting a snow shovel out there pretty soon. Yep. That's the way it's gonna be. So let's see how this winter goes. All right, we'll send over to that N3PXP. If you go ahead, if I got that call right, my name is Brian, and I'm located in Delmont, Pennsylvania, just about 30 miles east of Pittsburgh. And I'm just running a Kenwood 950 SDX here with Heathkit SB 220 linear amplifier running about 150 watts of carrier into a 40 meter full wave loop. Maybe up around 30-35 feet, at least at the one corner anyway. Fed with 450 ohm ladder line down to a Johnson Matchbox. It's actually outside, so go ahead and take it away. I'll listen out, N3TBW.
Okay, very good. N3 TBW. This is November 3, Charlie X-ray Papa here, and I'm hitting it a little hard here. My name is Tom, and Paul, I'm not sure if you're hearing me. I'm probably skipping over you, but I just thought I'd jump in here. I'm on my second hanger for the 8040 model, and I'm surprised to hear you guys in between broadcast stations, so I thought I'd fire up and see if I was being heard. We're located in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Again, my name is Tom, and we're running into a Step IR DB18, 2 elements on 40, and it's actually a fighter that you Paul down there in Annapolis. But hearing Brian pretty well, and let me send it over to Robert if he's hearing me, and I don't want to keep it too long in here, just in case not being heard. So W0 VMC, Robert Pacific N3CXP, over.
Hey, you're doing fine, Tom. Hey, Robert.
W9WOO.
Oh, hello, Barry. Hello, Tom, and the rest of the crew. I think I got the call as November 3, maybe Papa, X-ray, Echo, or X-ray. We'll clarify that there, Tom. You came up really nice at the end, and with the Super Senior up there in Allentown, PA. Yeah, really nice tones on the Super Senior there, Tom. So good stuff. And hello, goodbye to Brian. Brian, you know how to hurt a guy, don't you? Oh, man. Brian throwing that snow shovel talk on me, man. Now, you guys know what I go through up here in the cold tundra of western Wisconsin. But, Brian just couldn't help himself, man, with that snow shovel talk. Well, that's when I love to, overstay my welcome at these nice people that I've met over the years. Great people, plenty of extra bedrooms, shoot, and some of them even have my same shoe size, so I'm right at home. Well, hello, one and all out there, Brandon. When I first turned on the receiver, Brandon, you were, before I heard Paul, And of course I heard you there, Brandon. So and everybody else that followed. And Brandon, you were rolling up here real good. And Paul, I'm not sure what you're on, BJB Paul. Maybe you're on your Class D rig there. We'll find out. But I was out here a little earlier talking to a couple of guys, and matter of fact, Bob BKC, and had to ground out the old antenna. Storm rolled through, and there's still a remnant of it out there, so the static level is pretty high, but nonetheless, we're making do. And I've got the rest of my little AM fix here. Brandon, from what I heard, second party, your dad is in the shack there. Hello to you. Great to have you bringing up the atmosphere around the Brandon household there. And of course, Brandon, Paul mentioned something about your back maybe getting a little better, or Brian did. So of course that was going to be my next question, if you're getting a little more movement there in the old back. It sounds like you're on the mend, which is good. So, and we're still a pretty good sized group, so I'm not going to filibuster on here. But let's see, Gary, you pick it up. W9 World Radio, W9WOO. And then I believe it's going to go back to Brandon, unless there was somebody else I didn't hear. And hello to everybody out there. Go ahead there, Gary. W9WOO and the good sized bunch. W0 voice mod carrier here in Wisconsin.
Okay, Robert. I've been listening for the last 30 minutes. I got out of there, and I really was coming back just to say hello to Brandon, say hello to you, and some newcomers in there, just so I can do it all over again. So, Brandon, I want to say hello to you. I did hear you in there, and Robert, I want to say heard you had a shut down a little bit because a little storm was coming through. But everybody sounded great here in Indianapolis. So yeah, this is going to be my last one, but I wanted to say hey to everybody, and cooling everything down. Say 73, and I'll be listening. This is W9WOO. Brandon, you go ahead and take it. This is, see you later.
Okay, Gary. Just looking at things here. Good signal down here. Hearing everybody well. Tom, Gary, Robert, Brian. Brian or Tom, I don't think we've worked. And Jamie, I could have sworn I've spoken in the past, but I'd have to go back and look at the logbook. But good hearing you, or good meeting you, Tom. Good hearing you, Gary. Brian, I guess I'll say 73 to you, and we'll have to maybe catch up on the twisted pair, as Robert would say, here soon. And Tom, and Paul, I'm not leaving Paul out. The two best sounding super seniors that I have ever heard. I'm not going to pick one or the other. They both sound wonderful tonight. Or Paul, you may be on the other rig. I'm not sure. Supper. Amy's been slaving over supper the last 30 minutes. So I pulled up my QESDR and yeah, Robert, I'm sure that you're. I'm not sure what you prefer, cold weather or hot weather, but from what I've seen, you've had your share of summer, even though it may be short that high in latitude. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you've seen 90 a couple times, maybe mid-90s. I don't know. But yep, the sun is heading south as the world turns. So the days are getting shorter, and I woke up to the ceiling fans on this morning and 55 degrees outside. I actually had to pull the sheet back up over my shoulders, and it felt wonderful, and I had a hard time getting up. But I did get up in time to get in with the over the hill game down on 75 meters. Robert, if you we've been going through QRZ pages here, and I had to dive into your other hobbies and helicopter hobbies to find a picture of you. But just wondering if you on your website, not QRZ. I'm just wondering if you've had any seat time in the Bell or the Huey this season, or spend any time in the hangar working on anything. I guess I'll make this my 73, and I'll listen here for a while. And follow Gary out the door. So supper's waiting upstairs. But we got the bees done today, Robert, and been playing with the steam boiler. You may have heard it just the pressure relief valve go off at 150 pounds. So I guess things are working. New addition to it, I had I'm just using the electric marine pump to pump water back into the boiler under pressure, and found a good deal on a Penberthy, Penberthy steam injector, which was a miraculous invention in the early 1900s, but uses steam to inject water into the boiler and preheat it as it injects it, so you don't lose any energy. You're not putting cold water back into the boiler. So got that plumbed in, and running it through its trials tonight. So the next step is to get the boiler mounted on a little trailer that Dad built. When did you build that trailer there, Pop? 78, 79, before I was born, probably. And I can remember as a kid, I told Dad today it was some of the longest days of my life when I was, or as a kid, out working with him, but I wouldn't take nothing for it. But stacked many a stick of wood on that trailer. So. But he had stripped it down, and it's got the old mobile home axles underneath it, and it's perfect for what I want to do. I'm trying to make this thing look old, so I'm gonna mount the boiler on it, and I got the little steam engine completely disassembled. I took a lot of pictures, and it's going to take every picture I took to get the thing back together, because you can hold two pieces side by side and they look the same, and they're about a 1/16 of an inch shorter or longer. So get it stripped back down to bare metal, and add a little pizzazz to the steam engine, and have the boiler, the water tank, steam engine, and a 1890s two-hole corn sheller mounted on the little trailer, and then Dad can pull up beside me with his big 1914 rather, 8 horsepower Waterloo, precursor to John Deere, but Waterloo hit and miss engine, pulling a, what year is the grist mill? 1916. 16-inch stone grist mill that was made about, I don't know, as a crow flies, about 50 miles from where we're at now. So, and Dad, when we found it, however that came about. It wasn't just over the hill in Tennessee, but there was just enough pine or hemlock, whatever they used as wood, just enough for Dad to make templates and patterns to completely redo all the wood. And I helped him pour the Babbitt Barrens, and that's a whole different. I could talk for days on that. Anyway, it should be a fun little project, and our goal is 1st of October, so I think I'll have everything, if my back holds out, and my back is doing better, Brian. I'm off the prednisone, kind of overdone it today, but the pain's down in one hip. It's not up in the back, so. But we had Robert update below L5 is arthritis and still the little bulging disc. I wish it would go away between L3 and 4, and then bone spur on L2, whatever that means. Wife read something, she said to start drinking castor oil, so I told her I preferred Haviland, but I don't think that's the same breed. Let's see. I'm not sure who to turn it to. I think, Jamie, if you're still in there, N9TBE, I'm probably screwing this up, but Jamie, if you're there, and then turn it over to Paul up there in Annapolis, and we'll be listening out here. Good to hear you, Robert. Brian, we need to, Robert and Brian, we need to catch up. And, Paul, wonder if that 300G is still sitting in the, hopefully it's not in the weather, but I wonder if it's found a new home or not. I talked myself out of that one. Looking at your QRZ here, I wish I had one, but I've got enough. I need to thin the herd. Over to you, Jamie, N9TBE, and if not, Paul, pick it up. And Dad and I'll be listening out here for a while. And 73 to Gary. N9TBE, W4GZ.
Okay, Brandon, very good. Well, it was my pleasure to meet you this evening. Yeah, I didn't know if I got dropped off the list there or not. Wanted to make one more real quick one there. Got a lot of broadcast stations coming in now, so it's getting pretty rough on this end. But I got my AM fixed, so I'm happy. Glad I got the Valiant fired up this evening and had the opportunity to meet some new folks and have a little chat. So I guess I send it over to Paul. I didn't catch your call sign over there, and I want to say hello to W0BMC Robert on the other side of the state from me. So 73 fellas, I'll listen out. This is N9TBE near Door County, Wisconsin. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, Jamie, well, you're doing a nice job here at Annapolis, the capital of Maryland. N9TBE and the group from Whiskey Alpha 3, Victor Juliet Bravo, WA3, valuable junk bonds. Nice to make your acquaintance. I don't believe we've worked before. And not a bad signal from that part of Wisconsin where it gets cold and snowy. I like that, Robert. You know, when they stir you up like that, it's like the devil's pitchfork. You start talking snow shovels. Yeah. I haven't quite noticed the sun getting down earlier, although it has crossed the 8 p.m. time mark. I like it when it's 8:30, 8:45, but I saw on the summary of tides and sunset sunrise that it indeed has dipped below 8 p.m. now. Of course, that just changes the band occupancy a little bit, too. The fall schedule for the international broadcast stations around this area. We're going to have to recalibrate our activities accordingly when they change to their autumn schedules. And a couple other notes. Oh, hello to Tom there. N3 Charlie X-Ray Papa is an old contact. Well, fairly old, past few years anyway, in near Pennsylvania. I don't know if you're near Lancaster or not. For some reason, I think it's a different town that you're close to. But I congratulate you on getting the Super Senior on the air. The 8040 adds to Tom's collection of radios for AM. Tom has had a 160/80 Super Senior for a while, and recently saw a deal on an 8040 example. It brings him up here to our company on the top end of 40. So welcome, Tom. It sounds good. Sounds like you've got it set up pretty well. I guess you probably just replicated the connections off the other transmitter and went with it accordingly. So yeah, I would pronounce it happy there too. You are a little bit beyond the propagation zones, not as strong as I would expect. We're going to have to do a little bit of early morning or mid-morning testing when we're both, slamming each other's house meters for a real definitive qualitative report. But it does sound like you've got it shaken down okay for the time being, and I certainly didn't pick up anything. Brandon, the transmitter that Howard has, I'm sure, is safely in his garage somewhere. I'm sorry you two weren't able to connect on that, but I understand the reasoning behind it. And I think your grandmother had just passed away right when you were about to make a road trip out to Harper's Ferry to see Howard for that. And of course the 20V2 has got even more capability than the 300G. I happen to like the looks of the 300G better, but I'm just as delighted to hear your 20V on the air, filling up my receiver passband the way it does. And I'll drop a line on Howard there to see what he's got planned for the 300G. Yeah, mine's still sitting here. I had it on the air about 2 weeks ago. It looks healthy, and I'll probably be switching over to that here come fall. So thanks for asking, and I'll put that on the corner of the transmitter here that get it on the air. Tom, I'm going to pass it to you because I'm headed for the door here myself. Brandon and your dad, nice to hear both of you in there. And I think that 1978 trailer would be a perfect companion to the boiler that you're going to put on it. I want to see some of those pictures when you post them as well. That sounds like a great project, even if I don't have any direct expertise in it whatsoever. That video that you had up of it whistling down the valley was just fantastic. It even got our dogs stirred up. So I'm looking forward to the next chapter in the whole project there, too. Steam power. Here it comes, Tom. Let me look for you during the day sometime. Jamie wants to make your acquaintance. Stationed in Indianapolis, W9WMO. It's kind of light in here, and I think you're a little bit closer to 7291, where there's a digital station in there, and it was kind of ripping you up. Brian's long gone. Brandon's out of there by now, too, turning down the filaments. And I'm going to give it over to Tom here and say goodnight to all ships at sea from Annapolis. N3CXP and the group WA3VJB. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good. Paul, I am going to ship out fairly soon myself here because we've got a busy day tomorrow, and we'll have to catch up sometime in the morning. As you say, the conditions are not so good between here and Annapolis, but I was hearing Brandon, gangbusters. But it's been an eventful couple of weeks, and I will fill you in sometime. But yes, the 8040 transmitter seems to be, I turned the gain down here. There you go. Turn up. That's better. It seems to be working just fine. Actually tried piggybacking the connections, but did it through a relay board because I was having some issues, so it's working fine. I just flip a switch, I can go to 8160 or 80 and 40, and of course the same audio chain. I just use one of the other outputs and feed both transmitters to the same audio chain. So from what I've heard, I think I'm going to read well enough around. It's identical to the other one, and no trips, running through the computer. Everything's working very, very well. And Paul, we're actually headed to Lewis, Delaware with both sets of kids and the grandkids this week. So perhaps I'll get on some morning from the rice box in my Highlander. And we're all looking around as we relax down there in Lewis. So, and we're in Allentown Paul, just west of Bethlehem. So I'm not sure who gets it here. I am going to take a chance and send it over to Robert in case he's still there. There'll be a 0 VMC in it. Jamie, you might be there because I think Brandon has signed. So 73's all, and nice to meet you guys. And good evening to you, Paul, and 3CXP.
All right, Tom, you got it. W0 VMC in case you're not copying Tom. WA3BJ. See you guys.
On August 9th, spaceweather.com wrote about a geomagnetic storm in 1940 that sounds similar to the Inuit Hurricane event. To CME's.
Well, W1AW has fired up Prometheus. I don't know if you guys are noticing that or not, but they're running an IC 7300 on Moose service. WA3BJ.
From Oscar Kilo 1, Hotel.
Yeah, Paul, I can hear them. Yeah, they're just kind of hanging around the background. Yeah, W0 Victor Mike Charlie will